In this video, we're going to look at the basics of working with style sheets. To start, load your Style Sheets tab, which by default will load over here. In the Style Sheets tab, you'll see a toolbar with various buttons for working with style sheet options, as well as a list of pre-installed style sheets that you can modify as needed. You can also go ahead and create custom style sheets. So we'll go ahead and call this one Course 101, and you can even password protect your style sheets as needed. Once you create a new style sheet, it will go ahead and add it to the list. And you can go through your list at any time, select a style sheet, and remove it as well. Now, in the Style Sheets tab, depending upon what style sheet you're working with, we'll work with the default one here. You're going to see a list of pre-installed styles. Now, any of these styles can be deleted or modified as needed. Each style will also have an attribute, at least one attribute applied to it. Now on your style sheet, you're going to see some high-level styles and you're going to see some sub-styles. In this case, any of your slide styles will be your highest level styles. What that means is that anything added up here will then cascade down to all of your other slide elements, okay? So in this case, you notice that we have the main slide style here as well as 3 other slide styles. These other 3 pertain specifically to question slides, so we'll cover those in more detail in a different tutorial. For now, we're just going to cover the basics and we'll look at the slide style. Now the slide style itself has an attribute to fill the background color for white, and if we go over to our Slides tab, you'll notice both of our slides have a background fill color of white. However, we can change this attribute as needed. So let's go ahead and actually change it to a gradient. Now, just because we've changed the attribute here does not mean that it's going to automatically update our project. What will happen is this: we have to apply it to the project. So we'll go ahead and just apply the entire style sheet to the project now. And then if we switch back over to the Slides tab, you notice it did apply it to all the slides as needed. Now, anytime you have a style sheet selected when you're creating a new project, all of the attributes will automatically be applied to new projects as well. But this is a quick way. If you have a style sheet applied to a project and you need to update elements, you can do it here in just a few clicks. Now, there may also be a time when you want to control other attributes from the highest level. For example, maybe you want to control the font that's used throughout your project. You can easily do this from the slide level. For example, we'll just right click and we'll select Modify Style. Then we'll add an attribute for text properties and click OK. And you notice the attribute was added to the slide style. I can go ahead then into the attribute itself and modify it as needed. So for example, maybe I want the font for the whole project to be something different, and maybe I want the point size to be something different, and so on. And I'll click OK. So I've set a global level font or text properties attribute that will be used throughout the project. So let's go ahead and see how this would work. For example, in our balloon, if I were to add a balloon here, and I'll call this balloon number 1, and you'll notice that when I go ahead and click off of it, it's picking up the attribute for the text properties, the font and the point size, from the slide style itself that's cascading down. Now, there may be times when you don't want to use something from the highest level. For example, maybe for the balloon, I want a different text property or some of the attributes changed. So because at first it didn't have font and size selected here at the substyle level, whatever cascaded down was applied. However, I can change this, and then I can apply it to my style sheet or to my project. I'll apply the style sheet to my project, and then there it is updated. Because what's happening now is that the balloon text attribute is superseding what was set at the slide level up here. Now, there may also be times when you want to create your own custom styles. That's easily done as well. Simply go ahead and add a style. For this case, we'll go ahead and add another balloon style. When you add a new style to the style sheet, it will add it at the bottom, but you can also drag it up the list of sub-styles as needed. We're going to keep it here for now. And then we're going to go ahead and change some of the attributes. Maybe the fill color, we want to be like that for the balloon. And the text properties, maybe we'll go ahead and create a bigger font and we'll change the font color to something like that. And we'll click OK. Now let's see what happens when we add a new balloon with our new style. We'll go ahead and add the balloon, and we'll call this one balloon number 2. And we'll click off of it. Now you notice if I select this again, it's choosing the balloon style and not the new balloon 2 style down here that we had previously created. That's because by default it will automatically apply the balloon style in this case. So if I want to change the style that's being applied to this balloon, I do this one time. I simply go up here to my style sheet commands, and then I say select a different style for the balloon. Go down my list, select this, and click OK, and then it's applied there. And you only have to do this one time. And what's great about this is as you're working and updating your project down the line, if let's say you have to change one of the attributes of the styles that you've applied, in this case maybe this balloon one, I can simply go to my style sheet without even selecting any of them and then choose the balloon 2 style, and maybe my background color I needed something a little bit different. And we'll go ahead and click OK, and then I again have to apply it. I can apply it either to the entire style sheet to the entire project, or apply the selected styles to the project, in this case what I have selected. And then we'll click OK, and it went through my entire project. In this case there's only one balloon that it was applied to, but any of the styles that had the balloon 2 applied to them were automatically updated in just a few clicks. So now that you know a little bit more about working with style sheets, go ahead and play around with this on your own and see what works for you. That's it on this topic. If you have any questions while working with Qarbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.qarbon.com. Happy viewletting!